right, we are back with another WandaVision review episode of Two Brothers at a Water Cooler.
Yes, Tom, we are 1 week away for the season finale of WandaVision. It's been a bit of a journey today.
Yes.
I feel as if all the people that all of the fans on social media that was so keen to finding out what sitcom they were referring to, you were rewarded today.
Yes, you were. They let you know every single one.
For you, today was a payoff. For other fans, as myself, I think the joke has ran its course.
Right. It was like, I knew that was I Love Lucy. I knew that was Bewitched. I knew that was the Brady Bunch. Yeah. I knew it was Malcolm in the Middle.
And I guess that the reference sitcom that Tom and I were going for of Blackish, we just aren't going to get.
Well, I'm sure she did not see Blackish in Sokovia. No, nor.
But she didn't see Modern Family in Sokovia.
Yeah, I think she did.
Or The Office.
I think she did. I just don't think she saw Blackish in Sokovia. So, you know.
All right, so let's start this episode spoiler-filled review off. So
spoilers.
We start off going back to the Salem witch trials of Agatha Harkness, and we find out that she's either immortal or she has some very strange powers that allow her to have a very long life.
She's a witch, so you know, either or works.
So at first we are led to believe that she's on trial because, you know, they flash Salem, whatever the date was in front of you. So you're thinking you're going to
1680s or 1690s, I believe.
Yeah, so you assume we're going to a witch trial. They're gonna burn her or something. But what we come to realize that no, it's not the people that are passing judgment on her. It's actual witches for something that she has done that she was not supposed to do. And one of the people that have brought charges against her is also her mother. So I'm thinking Agatha has done some real foul shit for your mother to condemn you to death.
I would concur.
we aren't completely clear as to what exactly did she steal something or read something?
Well, basically she dabbled in magic that is off limits to them. I guess it must have been like dark magic, and they were like, you were dabbling in that, and so because of that, you have to be dealt with.
Yeah, I guess dabbling in dark magic is a bridge too far for witches. But,
yep.
Okay, so they are dishing out some sort of punishment to her, but as the punishment is being dished out to her, or the torture, you see her draining the life force of all the witches that have surrounded her. And in my mind, I'm saying, well, why don't they stop? This isn't working. This isn't working.
Well, yeah, I guess they were really, really determined. They knew they could do it, regardless of what was going down.
And it was like 5 of them, and it didn't work. And then after they all are sucked dry, the mother tries the exact same thing that the other 5 were doing, and it didn't work out for her either. So then we jump back to present day, and Agatha's she's being the typical villain, being smiling and explaining to Wanda exactly why she's here and what she has been doing, and she
called the monologue. She was monologuing.
Yeah, I guess if you could call it that. So she wants to know how Wanda has been able to pull off what she has been able to pull off. Anything to add, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, well, number one, I love how she does it. What she does is she gets a bug, looks like a hissing cockroach, but I'm not sure because it had wings. But she gets it and she goes mind control, and then she does like this incantation on it, and then she can control its mind. And then she brings it back, and like it crawls over Wanda's face, and then she brings it back, and she goes transfiguration, and then she changes it into a bird. And as she's, and she grabs the bird and throws it to her familiar, which is a rabbit. which is weird because Agatha Harkness's familiar is usually a black cat, but whatever. And so she said, it takes years to learn these disciplines, and you're able to do this in a moment. She said, you are mind controlling people miles away. How are you able to do this? And which what I appreciate about the scene is that she is explaining to you that these are very complicated magical procedures. Like, you don't just do this because you feel like doing it or because you're sad. You have to be a very well-informed and trained magic user to do something like this. But what I also realized in that moment is we know who the cameo is next episode. All because of this episode, you know who's coming in.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, okay. All right. That's what I have to add.
I don't think it's the pimp with the cape.
Well, he's not that. That's not what he is.
I don't know about that. But yeah, so we so Agatha, she essentially what she does is she gives us a history of Wanda. She shows us how Wanda fell in love with her sitcoms. Her father used to sell the VHS version of these sitcoms when she was a child.
He was a bootleg DVD salesman. They were DVDs.
He was
and they were bootlegs.
Weren't they VHS?
They were bootleg DVDs.
You sure?
Oh yeah, I know bootleg DVDs. That's what they were.
Well, yeah. He was selling them, man. You think from how he's able to, from people actually willing to buy a bootleg DVD, that it's not as bad as you would think. But then the mother looks outside the window and his tanks and soldiers outside killing each other. And it's like, well, damn, who the fuck has time to sit down and actually watch a sitcom and duck bullets? So
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah, I love that. Like they had this loving family scenario set up inside the apartment, but when you look outside the apartment, it's a war zone, and not like on the edge of a war zone. They're like dead in the center of a full scale war.
Like World War II war zone.
Right.
Tanks and soldiers are outside your building.
And she's looking at old sitcoms on the TV.
Exactly. So we discover her love of sitcoms, and we start to understand the reason for her recreating. In her mind, that was her happy place. So we understand why she created the world in which her and Vision came to live in. Yeah. And then we see different time periods of her. We see her as a child. And then what's the next period? Do they jump to
you don't jump just yet. That sequence ends with a bomb destroying the apartment, and Wanda and Pietro are under some rubble, and another Stark missile has landed right in front of them and is getting ready to detonate. Little Wanda sticks out her arm and she says, "This isn't real. This isn't real. Nothing is going to happen. This isn't real." So Agatha Harkness pulls Wanda from under the rubble. And now we see adult Wanda. And she was like, well, so that's when your power manifested. And Wanda was like, no, the bomb was a dud. It didn't go off. And she was like, no, it didn't go off because you stopped it from going off. You basically had the power. You just didn't realize you had it. Now the next phase is when she was, when Hydra was doing the experiments with her and Loki's scepter. I leave it to you, sir.
Yeah, so they were doing experiments with her, and damn, I forgot what the fuck. Did she just blacked out, right? She saw something in which the people that were watching her in the chamber with the scepter were not able to see.
So the scepter was basically sitting there, and the Hydra scientists were looking at it on closed circuit TV, and all they saw was her look at the scepter and her fall out. But what you saw on the inside was the scepter levitates, flies over to her. The Mind Stone comes out of the gem of the scepter, and then shoots some kind of power at her. Basically, this is the moment that enhances her innate ability as a witch, and she becomes the Wanda Maximoff that we know. So yeah, and then once again, it's kind of
Allegedly.
like all we're watching is just basically. I mean, what's so cool about this is we're really getting a Wanda Maximoff origin story, which we never got. You know, they gave us flashes at the end of of Winter Soldier, like who
Well,
Wanda Maximoff and Pietro were, their exposure to the stone, but we never really knew who she was and
they
how it
gave
affected
us
her.
they gave us what they could because Disney couldn't reference mutants.
Very true. Yes.
So they were a bit restricted in what origin story they could tell.
Right.
And as so they didn't want to actually give us one, then have to retcon it when Disney eventually purchased the rest of the Fox Marvel characters.
Very true. I agree. Um, yeah. So I guess the next stage in her life is when she has that interaction with Vision in Avengers Tower.
Yeah, so Vision is probably the first member of the opposite sex that completely understood her, and they had a bonding over a friendship. They were both outsiders that
Right.
were in a new group, and she really had no understanding of who she was or how to exactly act around normal people, and
Right.
never did Vision. Prior to
Right.
that, Vision was a program.
Right. Right.
So they bonded over the fact that both of them were awkward outsiders,
Right.
for lack
Yeah.
of a better term.
Yeah.
And then I forgot what happened next then.
Oh, then that was when she meets. Oh, you wanted to tell this one when she meets director Tyler Hayward.
Oh yeah, so we meet the douchebag director Hayward, who's really a special kind of douche.
Uh huh.
Wanda senses that Vision's body is at the Sword headquarters, and she goes there to retrieve it. She wants to give him his proper burial, which was odd to me. Looking at the episode, he was a brother at arms to the Avengers. How do you just leave a corpse there and don't give it a proper burial? B, how did white people get into Wakanda and steal something and with not getting their heads cut off?
No, I mean, I could speculate. Um, because at the end of the day, if I had to guess, Vision is property of the United States, and Vision was only there, like the United States can
No, he's not.
argue. That's why they were
He's
chasing
not
him.
property. He's property of Stark. He's property
Industries.
of Stark Industries. They're not there.
Yeah, but for
It's
some
not
weird
owned by
reason,
the.
that wasn't the first time that comment has been made that Vision is like property of the United States government. For some, I've heard that
Well,
before,
but
and so
who from from what though? The metal is from Wakanda. The computer program is Tony Stark's. The actual shell, that the shell casing that is Vision, is from Wakanda. The computer program is from Tony Stark. So what
listen,
bond
I'm
does the
just telling
U.S.
you,
have to Vision?
that's not the first time I've heard that reference that Vision was somehow property of the United States government. And so I think what like they came in, it was a diplomatic thing where it was like, listen, Vision is property of the US and Wakanda gave it to them. I don't think it was as simple as like he's a fallen brother in arms because the government doesn't look at him as a person. He doesn't have personhood status. And we
No,
see
but
that by the end of this episode. He
no.
is not a person in regards to the government.
Well, Wakanda wouldn't have to bury him. Half of the Avengers were still there.
No, I'm just saying that as far as they like, even if let's say Cap wanted to say we need to bury our brother, it's like whoa, he is property of the United States government, and Wakanda couldn't step in between because it would have been a diplomatic incident. Because like he's a weapon of mass
No,
destruction for the U.S.
I understand what you're saying, but with all that transpired after the blip,
Mm-hmm.
you really think coming to gap of Vision's remains would have been priority number one?
Yeah, because as far as they were concerned, what caused the blip were enhanced individuals, and the Vision was their sole weapon against enhanced individuals.
I mean, he was dead, so he wasn't that good of a weapon.
But we see what they were working on in those 5 years, don't we? So
well, we
that
still
was,
don't know how. We still can't tell.
yeah, we don't
Well, no,
we don't
okay.
know.
Well,
I'm
jumping
speculating.
back
I'm
into
just
this,
speculating. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. So jumping back into this episode, we are talking. Well, to the viewers, we are thinking we are going to actually see what transpired or how or what led up to the video that director Tyler showed Monica Rambeau in one of the first couple of episodes of Wanda stealing Vision, but it doesn't happen. Wanda does break glass and she does throw her magic powers around, but she feels Vision's head and she realized that he's no more.
Gone.
He's gone.
She was like, I don't feel you, which is a direct, in direct opposition to the quote she says in Infinity War when she touches his stone and she says, I feel you.
Yeah, so that happens and she just gets up and leave. And prior to that, she gets up and leave, and her and Vision, Vision had promised her a house. They had a deed to some property, and she had a car, and she goes and drives to where the property is.
Westview, New Jersey.
Westview, New Jersey. And as she's going, as she's walking around, stuff starts to happen. Wanda stuff starts to happen. She starts twirling her fingers, and we start to see the metamorphosis of the town. New cars from the year 2020 become cars from the 1940s and the 1950s. Houses and property starts to revert back to a simpler time. And then what happens next? A vision starts to spark out of that. So the Vision we have been watching, she never stole Vision.
Right.
This Vision is a reincarnation from her.
Right. This is transfiguration. She just created it out of nothingness. Which is,
because now looking back at it, she actually could have did this on like a small island, and no one would ever bothered her.
Well, yeah. Well, what sparked her feelings of despair was literally sitting on the land that Vision had said they were going to grow old together in. So I think that was the catalyst of the grief. She was on a vacation. She was on a small island in the Bahamas. She probably wouldn't have felt as sad as she felt there.
Well, she would have. I'm just saying she would have thought it through better. She could have went to an uninhabited island.
Yeah, true.
But thinking back at it, Vision was telling her a whole bunch of lies. Though.
I don't. What do you mean?
He can't grow old.
No, he cannot.
So.
But well, listen, she's a witch like Agatha Harkness. So can she?
Who knows? Mm-hmm. So what we come to find out is that it was Wanda. She created Vision. She created the kids. She created the town. And Agatha Harkness is there with an angle. She wants to figure out how in the hell this young woman was able to do this.
Right.
Compared to her, Agatha Harkness, who's been running around for what, over 2,000 years now?
No, 300, 400, 1690, 1790, 1890, 1990, 350 years.
A very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and there was no Monica Rambeau this week, so which we were I actually want to see what transpired between her and Quicksilver. So I guess we'll have to wait till the season finale.
I was gonna call him Pietro, which is his nickname from Agatha Harkness. He was like a fake Pietro, or Pietro, if you will. She's like, of course I couldn't use the real Pietro because necromancy. Woof, I don't have the crystals for that. So I just had to make my own. I was like, okay, that's really cool. And
go ahead.
Oh, okay. So after that scene, when she realizes what happens, we see like a kind of like a oh man look, like a big realization in Agatha Harkness. And after seeing how Wanda created the town, and she disappears, and we see Wanda outside. We hear Wanda's children, Billy and Tommy, like yelling for their mom. Wanda runs outside, and now Agatha Harkness is in her, like, her full witch garb, and she has the boys by their neck with like her magic ropes around around their throats as they're trying to run to their mother. And now everybody's been waiting for this moment from the very first episode. Agatha Harkness is like, do you know who you are? I know what you are. Your magic is chaos magic. You can create anything. You are the Scarlet Witch. And right when she says that, I know everybody's like, oh, snap. She said it. And then it cuts right then and there.
I did not feel that at all.
That's because you had that hate in your heart. That's because you had hatred in your heart.
I felt that's what Director Haywood was going to call her.
Yeah. When he said, doesn't she have another nickname? To Monica, and Monica was like, no. Yeah. I mean, I honestly don't think that was the.
So clearly, she was referred to as a witch. I don't think he was going down the other word. I don't know. I think he was referencing witch. At least I hope so for Disney's sake.
I hope so. But that being said, so we finally get the name. She is recognized as, we always knew she was, but we finally get the official name, Scarlet Witch, which is the name in the comics, which is how she's always kind of been referred to. And now, once again, one can only wonder if she is going to usher in the new era of mutants in the Marvel universe. And I'm excited about that. Do you want to talk about
she was able to do? I forgot about the end. Yep. And after the end, and then there was an end credit scene again this week, and we are at a staging area for Director Haywood and the rest of SWORD, and one of his commanders go, "Are you ready?" We finally have the power to turn it on. So you aren't really sure what they're talking about. But you see the drone that they used earlier to try to kill Wanda, and they have the drone pointing at the shell of Vision.
Right. The drone is imbued with Scarlet Witch magic.
And they are able to turn Vision on. And as the episode is closing, we see Vision awake. Now, we aren't sure, is it Vision? I don't believe it is
no,
Vision.
It's not Vision. It's just a shell. Because the Mind Stone, what made Vision was a combination of his experiences and the Mind Stone. And that shell has neither. And so, but what it has led me to believe is we may get a season 2. Because now that we have a real, fully functioning Vision, it's now about, and Wanda has actually created his personality. It doesn't have the history, but it still is a close enough personality that I think she's going to be able to merge the two. And if she does, we could get a WandaVision sequel or season 2.
The show generated enough interest that they will move them to the big screen.
I mean, they could. I mean, honestly, they were a part of the Avengers. It's not like crazy to see them go back, but we can only have so many Avengers. And we're trying to usher in the new ones. So I'd be surprised to see them come
how many
back.
New ones? How many, to think about it, how many new ones are you talking about?
So we're gonna probably have Blade.
And
we got the new Hawkeye. That. We got Thor, a new Thor, and we're gonna have the old Thor. Because I don't think Chris Hemsworth is leaving. So we got 2 Thors. We got
and we have
Blade. We
Falcon,
have
Falcon,
right?
Falcon, and we have
with Captain Marvel,
the Winter Soldier, and we have Rhodey, right? Maybe Spider-Man,
right? And then we got Spectrum or Photon. We got a lot of Avengers. We still got Ant-Man and Wasp.
They're more powerful. The Avengers now will be more powerful than what they were in their previous reincarnation.
I can't wait to see what their new villain is.
It's gonna have to be one pretty bad because
Galactus is the only other person coming to mind.
Thanos. or the Beyonder, because they are introducing the X-Men, so we can have Secret Wars.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know.
So
I mean, listen, the possibilities are endless at this point. I mean, because they are going all in hard on Marvel's, like, real origin stuff, like, their classic stories. Now it's not like we're talking about versions. It's like, oh yeah, this is the real Scarlet Witch. This is the real Agatha Harkness. Like, and to see, if he comes in Doctor Strange in the next episode, it wouldn't even be like, what? He's a movie. It's like, no, like, he pops in, he pops out, he gets a movie.
What's the next film?
I don't know. Oh, Black Widow.
Well, it wouldn't be Black Widow. That was filmed prior to this.
Yeah, I don't know.
She's the deceased. I think it's going to be either Captain Marvel.
Are they shooting Captain Marvel? I know they're shooting Spider-Man No Way Home. That's the only one that I know.
But he wouldn't be looked at as an ally because right now he's on the run. Yeah, so it's either going to be Captain Marvel, which is my first, my first guess, or the Winter Soldier and Falcon, or your first guess, which is Doctor Strange.
Yeah. So, I am real excited. I think we got some good times ahead of us. And yeah, man, I can't wait for the season finale next week.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, up to this point, I have to give it a 3 water coolers so far.
Wow. Okay, that's hurtful. Okay, well,
I enjoyed this episode. This and last week was probably one of my 2 favorite ones, but we have had this conversation before. I feel the sitcom joke just went on for too long.
Gotcha.
It really it takes me out and pulls me back in. It's I think after like 2 episodes, we could have said, okay, let's get to what everyone came here to see.
I guess I'm gonna have to give it 4 water coolers. I enjoyed the sitcoms and I enjoy the slow reveal. Like, I'm fine with their pacing. I don't need it like to be. Yeah, I mean, it is like, in our these times, we're so used to like getting everything all at once. But I appreciated it, like, because I feel like they stuck the landing. And
I don't mind the episodic release of it. I just mind the content. I think the sitcom joke thing went on a little too long.
Yeah. All right. So then you got 3 water coolers from you and 4 water coolers from me.
Well, this episode I give 4 water coolers.
Okay, yeah.
But the season as a whole.
Yeah.
The season as a whole.
4 water coolers.
I give it a 3.
All right, so this has been our WandaVision review episode. We will be back next week for our final episode, and we'll let you know what our thoughts are on the entire series.
Cool. Peace. Thank you for showing up.
Peace.
You've been listening to Two Brothers at a Water Cooler with Mike and Tom, produced by Jamie Fernandez and Peter Bune. Rate and review this show on Apple Podcasts, and you might find your review in a future episode.